The morning rain clouds up my window. Yeah, that's what we're on right now. M's doing this thing, man. This STANS documentary thing that I've just been following for a few weeks, and I wanted to talk about. I just think it's super tight. The whole concept is really tight. I'm going to start by showing the trailer here because I don't know how many people have actually seen it or been following it like I have, but we'll start right here.
Why did you write the song Stan?
Is Stan based on a real fan?
Why do you share so much about yourself in your music?
What the hell goes on in your brain?
How does it feel to be followed by so many people?
How much fan mail do you get?
How's your daughter?
Have you read my letter?
What's it like being famous?
What's your first question?
So at this point, the documentary is already out. I haven't seen it yet. I've been seeing all the promotional material he's been releasing for it, but I haven't seen the documentary itself, although I've seen all the content surrounding it and all of the promotions surrounding it. So this video is basically, Adam Sandler talking about Eminem in general. I thought this was just kind of cool because he was in Happy Gilmore 2 here recently. There's some really funny outtakes from all of that, and over the years, this isn't the first time that he's done something with Adam Sandler, and they've held a relationship for some time. And they've been good friends from what I understand based on what I've heard from them. And it was cool that he got his support on this end for the STANS documentary right after he showed support for the Happy Gilmore films.
Yeah, that dude right there, he's cooler than me.
It says he's cooler than me at the end there. Kind of cut it off at the end in this particular snippet, but he said, that dude right there, he's cooler than me, And Adam Sandler's just such a funny dude, man. It's just really funny to hear him talk about someone he's so close with and just say, yeah, he's fucking cooler than me. Here M talks, I think to a handful of fans that are there and just people in general at the venue that he's at and whatever or wherever this clip was filmed at. You can see Paul right there. I believe that's Paul. And he just kind of just have an open conversation with the people at the venue.
Expect what it was, but you got it. Who hasn't seen it, those of you who have not seen it, it's fucking crazy and it's powerful as fuck. And it just lets me know, it gives me the strength to, keep doing this shit. Because I want to keep doing it till I'm a fucking 100 years old. Right?
Wants to do it till he's 100 years old. We have seen this man release project after project. Sometimes there's years in between the projects. Sometimes there is, a big gap in between projects, kind of like what we saw, after Encore, leading up to Relapse. And then even a couple-year hiatus between Relapse and then the Marshall Mathers LP2. Well, I'm sorry, Relapse, and then we got Recovery the following year. But right after Recovery, we had, I think it was about a 3-year gap until we got the next project, which would have been the Marshall Mathers LP2. He just always delivers to a sense. So to hear him say that he wants to continue, especially after here just in recent years just putting out the Death of Slim Shady album, where he kind of just wrapped that whole thing up. It's nice to hear him say, I've still got more for you guys. I still want to do more, whether it be in this format, like this documentary he's doing, or the unreleased music that we may see on Tuesday's soundtrack on the 26th, which is kind of the main premise here. That's one of the more exciting pieces that I want to talk about. No matter what he's doing, in that sense, he's always trying to work, and it's just nice to hear him say, I'm not done working yet. It's just going to be really cool to see what comes after this. I don't really know where he'll go after this. But he's always got something working.
Every time I write, there's different stages of it. And that's one of the reasons that I keep a book now. I'm always able to go back in my book and have unlimited ideas.
Still using paper. He'll still pick up, everybody, there's a lot of artists now that'll write on their phones and there's a handful that still write, but M is just always pen and paper. That's how he started. That's how he still does this. I mean, there's no telling how many notebooks and how much material he has that's actually just jotted down on things. That part of it is just really cool to me. The way that he thinks of things in terms of what page they're on and where he wrote it or what corner of the page he may have wrote something on. It clicks in his head that way. He can always find his things that way.
Sometimes I just write my rhyming words down and not the stuff in between so that it can't be put together if someone finds it.
That's just cryptic. That's just he's always playing to win. He's still in battle rap mode. You know, that's what he came up in. That was his scene. That, you know, and he's still as competitive and still as aggressive and still as protective of his material. You know, that's someone who cares about the things that come from his head. So this is just an article that I came across, which got me kind of thinking about this video at all. Was there are talks of his intentions to release some unreleased or some previously unreleased music with this project, which is always an exciting thing to hear from an artist who's been in it as long as M has. There's a part in here that states that while a track list hasn't technically been released yet for the soundtrack, that it has been confirmed that the soundtrack will include previously unreleased music. Now, that could mean a few things. In previous projects, we've seen it mean releases of freestyles or acapellas or just things from the years leading up to some of these projects that we hadn't heard before, something he did on stage or maybe a freestyle that he had done when he was coming up. What I'm hoping is that this is going to be more of, fully put together pieces. You know, sometimes he'll put songs on albums now that were meant for older albums. We've seen that with tracks like Discombobulated from Music to Be Murdered By. That song was originally supposed to be on Relapse, or maybe it was just something that he didn't feel needed to be released then, but he kind of revamped and put on a newer project. And I think he did something like that on the Death of Slim Shady album with the fourth track down. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it was more of like a dance poppy song that, you know, fit the encore vibe a lot more than anything else, but it was cool to get it now, especially in the context that he put it in. And then on another part of the website, they've got pre-orders up for the vinyl, which looks super dope. I've got a couple of the vinyls from previous projects. M's really good about putting things together for projects, whether it be a CD or vinyl like this, where he puts a lot of extra things in there for the fans. I think it was the Relapse CD that I'd bought that had, you know, some poems in there from him and some things that he was talking about specifically with Proof's passing and just stuff that keep the fans really involved. Things that, you know, he doesn't share openly, whether it be through the small amount of interviews that he does or even just on social media accounts, anything like that. He's always putting things in projects like this or physical renditions of projects like these that you just don't get anywhere else. It's just always so much that he gives to the fans, and that's why this is so important, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, is that, you know, for someone who's followed M for such a long time and supported his music, like many people, I'm always excited to get things like this. This whole documentary is not only for the fans, but in a way it's about the fans. He made it a point to put something together for the people that have supported him through his entire career. To see all of this and to be a part of all of this and to feel like he's really pulling you into his world after all these years. You know, his music has made us all feel so close to him anyway, you know, so to do something like this just gives us that much more of him.
Hip-hop was the most important thing that empowered me as a kid. It made me feel tough when I wasn't. I was a scrawny little kid growing up on 8 Mile, walking up the fucking block. Put headphones on, and it made me feel powerful. Hip-hop taught me how to throw my first punch, gave me the confidence. It was like my dad, and it was the only thing that made me empowered. It made me feel good about myself, and when I started being able to write rhymes and figured out I could do it, that's where the feeling comes from.
It's just crazy to me that he can still have so much passion for this after so many years, and he could still give so much of himself. The way that he talks about the music says everything about where he's at. For every 10 songs we get, there's probably 100 that we don't. You know, and it's just practice for him. It's just repetition for him. It's just, you know, it's just a workout for him. And that's just what makes him such a prolific artist. Just the amount of dedication and the amount of time he spends with the music and the culture. He follows artists that he's followed for years, and he's still following all the newer artists. There's a handful of interviews where he says that, you know, he keeps up with the Juice WRLDs and the Coles and the Kendricks, and then I'm sure he does that, and then he gets right back to, you know, his contribution. This was one of the first things that I saw where he had a handful of people come in and use the "My Name Is" kind of theme and introduce themselves, and it just adds to the value of the amount of promotion that they're doing for this.
Hi, my name is
Go ahead.
I wanted to say Zo Shady. Hi, my name is Chiki Zord Shady.
Hi, my name is Alex.
I'm sorry, just the transition from the guy before Alex and then Alex's introduction.
My name is Brooklyn.
Hi, my name is James.
Hi, my name's Kyle.
Hi, my name is
Kyle.
Well, no, you're gonna...
Oh no, she missed it.
I thought you needed like the song. Hi,
she didn't
my name is
understand the
Nikki.
assignment on that one. So you have to be careful taking too much of a dive here online because you just never know where all this information is coming from. But of course, we end up on Reddit at some point, all of us, and there are a few people that are speculating that there's only 2 songs on there that are going to be unreleased. Maybe this original post is even just 2 songs unreleased from D12, which is what it is, I guess. If that's what we get, that's what we get. It wouldn't be the most exciting thing. It wouldn't really be what I'd hope for. But then, you have a few people here going into the, already starting with that acapella thing that we talked about, and then maybe putting out an instrumental or radio edit. Yeah, this may even just be kind of a joke based on what we've gotten in recent years. I'm not sure, but Stan radio edited and then live at SNL 2017 with Skylar Grey, and this person saying it's underwhelming. I only have 2 new tracks, but it's a soundtrack documentary at the end of the day. I'm glad we're getting anything. It's kind of where I'm at. Someone down here has a confirmed track list. I'm not going to even go that far with it because, again, you just never know where this information is coming from, and we never really know with things like this what we're going to get until we get the project. So that pretty much wraps it up for now. I appreciate you guys watching this far. If you have, we'll just see what this week brings. My tears don't call up wondering why. Put your picture on my wall. That's kind of how Elton John did it. Not exactly like that. Mine might have been a little bit better, but he did his thing.